Turn off your mind, relax and float downstream. It ain't dying. It ain't dying. Lay down all thoughts, surrender to the void.
My name is Alex Pappies. I'm the stewardship coordinator here at Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement Group. We are standing on a planting site at the Dosewalds River at the Beisch property, and we installed 6 different tree species here: western red cedar, western hemlock, shore pine, Douglas fir, grand fir, and Sitka spruce. And this is one of our largest plantings that we did last year, and we actually installed over 11,000 native trees and shrubs just last winter. And so these trees have grown through the summer, and so they've been in the ground for about 1 year. You have a lot of lands in historic floodplains that were transitioned to pasture land, and these don't really provide the necessary ecosystem services and functions that salmon rely on and evolved for the last 10,000 years with. So what we're trying to do is reestablish the natural native plant communities, which will then provide the key functions for these streams to maintain healthy salmon habitat.
This is a 2-year funded project, funded primarily by the Salmon Recovery Funding Board and also a WSDA knotweed control grant. There's a couple other smaller grants, including One Tree Planted, funding provided by the Natural Resource Conservation Service, and in-kind donations of volunteer hours. In general, this project is focused on 8 Hood Canal summer chum streams with the goal of restoring the structure and function of native riparian plant communities. The 2 main measurable objectives are planting 15 acres of new riparian habitat every 2 years and surveying and controlling knotweed on 45 stream miles annually. Our work area includes the Union River, Tahuya River, Dewata River, Big Anderson Creek, Big Beef Creek, Big and Little Quilcene Rivers, and the Dosewalds River. Our work is focused on riparian habitat. What riparian means basically is it's the transitional area between land and aquatic ecosystems, which includes the active floodplain, riverine wetlands, terraces, and adjacent upland that directly contribute organic matter to the active channel or floodplain. If we take a journey back into the past, prior to the 1850s, much of the Hood Canal region existed as an old-growth forest ecosystem, which included the riparian environment. And the real magic of these forests not only is when they're alive, but after they die. And when they fall into the forest floor as nurse logs or into the stream environment as large woody debris, you get a lot of ecosystem benefits from those dead trees being left in place in the environment. Large, durable woody debris stabilizes spawning gravels for summer chum and protects incubating eggs during high flow events. It also increases habitat complexity of the stream channel and cover from predators for spawning adults. The multi-layered canopies and soils rich in organic matter function as a massive sponge which absorbs water during heavy rain events, reducing runoff, infiltrating and filtering the water down through the soil environment, recharging aquifers, and sustaining base flows during low summer droughts. Vegetation along stream banks also slows water movement through increased channel roughness, and the below-ground roots provide the physical support to anchor and provide a cohesive binding of the bank material. In 1844, the United States began offering homesteads of up to 640 acres to encourage settlement, and large-scale Euro-American settlement soon followed that. In the Hood Canal region, timber and salmon were king, and these natural resource-based economies needed agriculture and settlement to support the labor required to convert the resources into capital. Riparian floodplains provided the fertile soils for agricultural areas and began converting them into crops and pasture lands occupied by livestock. Historic logging practices started along the shorelines of the Hood Canal, then moved up along the river corridors. These logging practices removed old growth and also cleared streams of large woody debris to support the log drives for transporting the cut timber downstream. By 1910, much of the old growth in the Hood Canal region was logged, and the remainder was harvested in the 1920s and 1930s. More recently, urban sprawl, residential, and commercial development have invaded the riparian zone. Human activities have also introduced several invasive plant species that have established and spread throughout the riparian zone. What we see on the landscape is a result of these past actions and values. We have inherited these from our ancestors, and we must decide what is the best way to move forward for not only our human community, but also our natural community. Without intervention, Hood Canal riparian ecosystems will not be able to provide the necessary structure and functions that Hood Canal summer chum have co-evolved alongside and depend on for critical habitat in the freshwater stream environment. There's a couple that are very relevant to summer chum specifically, and these would be large durable woody debris recruitment, stream shading and stream temperature regulation, forest and understory regeneration, modulation of low and high flow events, interception and infiltration of surface water, bank stabilization, and nutrient inputs into the aquatic food web. This project will restore these functions and services through replanting with an emphasis on conifers and fast-growing, shade-producing deciduous trees and shrubs, and the survey and treatment of knotweed. To support the restoration of these specific ecosystem functions, we will prioritize plantings along areas where large woody debris is lacking in streams, where there is little or no canopy cover, where noxious weed populations are preventing the establishment of native trees and shrubs, and also where canopies are dominated by deciduous growth. This project is particularly focused on controlling knotweed, and when I say knotweed, I'm actually referring to the invasive knotweed complex, which includes 4 species of knotweed: Bohemian, Giant, Japanese, and Himalayan. All 4 species are Class B state-listed noxious weeds. Knotweed is a large rhizomatous perennial plant that can reach heights of 20 feet. It has round, hollow, bamboo-like stems with large, bright green leaves ranging from egg to heart shape with a pointed tip. Knotweed spreads aggressively along rivers and establishes dense monotypic stands, displacing native plant communities. Nothing will grow under knotweed if it's an established population, and it also dies back with the first hard frost in the fall, right around when our streams are beginning to rise. So not only do you not have woody vegetation occupying the stream bank, you have nothing there to hold the bank intact against the erosive actions of flooding. Knotweed has evolved to take advantage of this erosion, and the rhizomes, the knotweed roots in the soil, are dislodged and transported downstream, where they take root and resprout, forming new clones further downstream. This project uses the Washington Conservation Corps to complete the majority of the knotweed control and winter plantings. The WCC is an AmeriCorps program that provides hands-on experience, field skills, and training opportunities to young adults between 18 and 25 years of age, as well as military veterans. The WCC does a wide range of projects, not only including restoring critical habitat, but building trails and responding to local and national disasters. Our WCC crew is the boots on the ground for this project, and they're a 6-person crew with 1 ecology-employed crew supervisor. In addition to the WCC, we rely on our plantings by local volunteers, which combined with the WCC plant over 10,000 native trees and shrubs every year.
we were really excited. My wife Joy and I were really excited about a little less than a year ago when Alex contacted us and wanted to help us do a project here. You can't see it right now, but we got a permit probably 25 years ago to cable some of the falling trees into the river to create salmon habitat. And it's worked pretty well, but we're losing in this particular section that you're observing. About 25 years ago, additionally, we got involved with Salmon Enhancement when they started doing incubators on some of the smaller streams around here. And we got to know all those folks, and we're really impressed with their work. But Alex and his crew have been out here, and they've come out several times over the past year. And I'm really pleased. They've had a lot of success. We have a lot of growing plants here, and there'll be a nice gateway of conifer trees we have 20 acres here, about a quarter mile of riverfront. These trees will protect for future salmon runs. We have very few salmon in this river right now. The only run we have of any numbers is pinks. And we've observed over the last probably 7 or 8 years, these fish are getting smaller and smaller. So Joy and I feel that anything that we can do to enhance this fishery, we want to work especially with folks from Salmon Enhancement.